So for Unit 2, Activity 4, the influences and benefits of participation in physical activity in sport. In this section, there's some minds-on stuff, so it's taking a look at this image right here of these two things. And this is a shift. I've actually seen a few of these in different cities as I've gone around. So it's just ways we can try and encourage people to get out of their vehicles and to use self-propelled methods of transportation. So it's just sort of talking with the idea, fill the dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you never watched the movie, you should look it up. Old Kevin Costner flick. So that's the idea here in terms of if you put stuff out there, people are going to use it. Then looking at some of the action stuff. This is looking at the Arctic Winter Games. Not necessarily just straight up Indigenous games, but a mix of sort of, I guess, what we call current culture activities, your hockey, your volleyball, your soccer, those types of things, and other sports that have a northern orientation to them in terms of where they come from. And then, of course, some emerging sports that are happening up there as well. But this was basically taking a look at sort of how these people felt in terms of physical activity and how it made them feel or made them more involved. And so you'll basically look at this data, see what the data sort of says, and then share what you think is the main purpose. Physical literacy is something we'll be talking about more of in this course, but physical literacy is really important. The idea meaning that if we can become physically literate, there's a bunch of different benefits, not just physically, but in terms of other areas. So self-esteem, test scores, disease prevention, and even higher annual earnings. So that's something else we'll look into a bit more detail, but it kind of ties back into this idea of these statistics and how it makes people feel and what they feel it does for them in terms of the actual benefits. The next piece down here is comparing sources of information. So it's taking a look at whether it's primary or secondary sources. There's a graphic organizer here that you'll open up, and then you'll complete the graphic organizer by clicking on the Craft Canada website and the Participation website. It's really important to make sure you look at the whole web page and find as much information as possible. Don't tell me that you can't find a date. Don't tell me you can't figure things out. You need to figure things out. So the idea here is you're analyzing something from Craft, which looks like this. And in this case, they're providing information on staying physically healthy. So benefits of physical activity. And the idea is you got to figure out sort of if it's primary, if it's secondary, and why are they including this? So why would Craft, be including this information on their website? What is it they're trying to do here? And we've talked a bit about sponsorship and advertising. The idea of what, Tim Hortons and their involvement. Is it really all about what's good for kids, or is it about maybe making more money and selling more product? And then you'll compare that to the Participation website, which has a lot of the most recent information related to society in terms of how we're doing in terms of our movement, physical activity, our sleep, all those different types of things, how much time we're sitting. And you're going to look at this kind of document in more detail here pretty soon as well. But again, taking a look like where all this information comes from. Is it from a primary source? Is it a secondary source? And what's the purpose of them producing and putting this out there? So please be sure to make sure you look at these in detail, because when I mark it, I'll be looking for the detail. And if it's not there, then it just won't get the mark that you're looking for. And then, of course, continuing down, it's talking more about the benefits of physical activity in sport. There's a couple videos here you can watch. And then in this situation here, you're going to make yourself a infographic. So taking the information, looking at the things that are required to meet all of these different things, this has to be all inside your infographic. And then you can choose one of these variety of ways in which you can create an infographic if you wish, or maybe you're quite artistic and you can do it in some sort of Adobe, something of that sort, or you can do it in Paint. That's up to you, but I need to have an infographic submitted for this assignment right here.
Please excuse this interruption. Could Mr. Stewart please make his way down to the gymnasium, please? That is Mr. Stewart to the gymnasium.
And then in this situation right here for assignment number 5, this self-assessment, you can click on that and then just sort of review how you think you're doing in terms of those different research skills. So that would be Unit 2, Activity 4.